swimming in The Witcher 2. No.
Well, that's fair enough. All right. Quick time events. Will quick time events only be in boss fights?
No, the quick time events are not any relevant or significant part of regular combat, even if you are fighting with your bare fists in a regular combat, because that's possible. It does not include QDA. QDA is only in some of the alternative ways to walk through the big opponent fights, and also in some of the minigames. That's pretty much it. It's like, you know, a cherry on pie.
All right, Dan Hagen asks us, what do we think about the engine? How powerful and how interesting is the engine that has been written for The Witcher 2 that you guys have developed in CD Projekt Red?
Well, I'd say it's the best RPG engine out there. I mean, there are not too many RPGs. All the developers have their own. I mean, most of them. But we've been developing this one from the scratch. It's probably one of the newest RPG engines out there, or the newest RPG engine out there. I think you've already seen that it looks good, and it definitely can do things regarding non-linearity, directing dialogues and everything like this that not too many RPGs can do. So what do I think about the engine?
Although I think we can agree, while you might be a little bit biased, I also have seen the engine, not just in this gameplay video, but other times. And speaking as a gamer who's been playing games since I was 8, which is longer ago than I want to admit, yeah, definitely, awesome engine. I'm really excited about The Witcher 2.
It's got dozens of tools, a lot of stuff.
So from BloodRed217, he's asking, I know you can't directly control the companions, do they have simple commands? And I guess that brings also around to companion control in general.
Yeah. We are not implementing a separate companion mechanism, like a strategic part of the game where you actually have to develop your abilities, or part of a game where you direct your companions. It's more story driven. Anytime that you actually get somebody to help you, it's because you've chosen some part of the story. Yeah?
Okay, cool. From 4K387, what are your reasons for releasing The Witcher 2 DRM free, even if it's just through the one channel on GOG?
Because we definitely always wanted to do it. It was our dream from day one to release our games without DRM. Thank you, GOG.
Sure. Hey, yeah, we're glad to help. I can't take much credit for that. I'm just the marketing guy. But that also does bring us to the question of why GOG and DRM free for The Witcher 2 is why is it just on GOG?
Why is it just on GOG? Well, GOG is a sister company. We live under one roof. It's the only place on earth when we can have full control over what happens from now to day one, to the release day. So we can fully. It's not only about trust. It's not a matter of trust because we don't have problems with that. But it's actually like full control and being able to do everything we can with the build, and you know it's just secure in house. And this is pretty much the only place where we're totally safe with releasing DRM free.
Sure. Well, we get a question from the French monk. Will The Witcher 1 be available on GOG.com? That's a really good question. We're working diligently. I know that the head boss at GOG, Guillaume Rambourg, he is. I think he may have something on his table with regards to that. But
when he gets back from his vacation, he probably
when he gets back from his vacation, yes. So I can't. We can't make any promises. Certainly, we're working hard towards it, and we would definitely love to see The Witcher 1 on GOG at some point. So stay tuned. We'll cross our fingers and hope, and you'll hear more from us as soon as we know anything. From Ryutse. Are you going to release some extensive modification mod tools?
Yeah, we'd love to. It's the same as console question. It's the same as, I don't know, whether going to be next Witcher. We will do everything we can. It's doable. Our toolset is really user-friendly. It's not user-hostile. We will do everything we can to release a toolset. We definitely need a proof of concept, actually, to make one game on it so that anybody who wants either to use it as a modder, as a community, or just buy it as a franchise or anything, they need to actually see that it works. So one game, I don't know if it's going to be enough for everyone, but it's at least enough for us.
Certainly, and that also comes back to some people are saying this game seems very kind of console-ized, and I think you got a lot of very powerful RPG mechanics in there, and as you just showed in the gameplay video,
there was a combat log in the corner that actually, I mean, it's going to be optional in the final game, but if you look at it, it shows you that all these RPG mechanics are there in the combat. I mean, I know I said it, but
yeah. So we also are asked how many endings will there be? I think you've mentioned that a few times. How many endings are there?
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of factors that differentiate how the storyline branches, and at the end, you've got 16 different states with which the game ends. So these are 16 different endings of the game.
Yes, that was, by the way, Surtur01's question we were answering there. And so how different are these endings going to be?
Some of the factors are really huge, like one country exists or not. Some other mean that somebody is dead or alive, someone's your friend or not. So it's actually up to you to decide how big these are, because for some people, some factors may be bigger or smaller. But I can't say whether, I don't know, 10 of these are really, really huge and other 6 are smaller, or it's like all of them are really huge. For me, they are really different, because I believe most people actually want to replay the game a lot of times to at least see most of these. I don't know, 10 endings. It's going to be worth it.
All right. Will we be licensing the engine to other games besides just The Witcher 2?
I think I addressed that already. I mean, it's pretty much the same case as with modders, with community. We would like to do this, but actually selling something and reaching for somebody's pocket, it's not going to be $5 engine. It's probably going to be more if we decide to sell it. We definitely need some time to polish it for the sake, not just for releasing our game.
All right. We're asked, how will GOG survive the traffic?
We're doing fine, aren't we? Yeah.
We're doing fine. The Witcher 2 is the content. Certainly, there's a lot of content there. It's going to be how many gigabytes roughly?
It's going to be 2 double-layered DVDs.
All right, so a lot of gigabytes anyway. And GOG has a content delivery network with servers all across the world. So even if one server starts to really struggle under the load, you can always be shuffled to a different server to get your content from. Now, admittedly, your bandwidth might be a little bit reduced because you're trying to download from somewhere further away from you than the most optimal server. But our tech guys have been working really hard to do our best to make sure that we'll be stable for the GOG launch, and that we'll be able to make sure that The Witcher 2 is available to everybody without any problems of GOG, erupting into a ball of flames while our servers melt into a slag heap. That's not something we need to worry too much about, I don't think.
Has the alchemy system been expanded upon from The Witcher 1? We have improved it. I mean, it's not revolution size of what we've done with the combat, but there are changes. You can meditate anywhere. You don't need to seek for fireplaces right now. Brewing potions is easier, and you cannot spam potions during the combat. It's primarily for preparing beforehand. So I wouldn't say this is a revolution, more of an evolution, but it's revamped.
All right, from user Morgar, how are you going to be able to import the save game from The Witcher 1 since there's no ending save game after finishing the playthrough?
It's going to be the last one that you have. It still determines which ending you get. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We also see some people are asking, over-the-shoulder and isometric view required a very different experience in The Witcher. This is from DB Smith. Will isometric view return in The Witcher 2, or will we only have over-the-shoulder?
Oh yeah, we got... Well, you do not manually switch types of the camera, it's true. So in exploration, for most of the time, you will have the over-the-shoulder camera, this one. But in combat, for example, or in other different situations, camera adjusts manually and it shows more. Case of combat is interesting because it actually is a further away camera. So
sure. From Soul Seeker 1, why did we decide to change the combat system? Certainly, some people liked it. Why did we decide to implement that the new and improved combat system?
I would say, especially to Soul Seeker 1, that he probably will not actually consider it a huge change, because for all these guys that liked the complexity and depth of the combat